I think I really honestly started stand up after the whole Louis thing. Um, I started after that. I started after that because I didn't have, like, I needed a voice. And not that I talked directly about it. I think as someone who went through it, you would have thought that I would have talked more about that. Do I have bits about it? Yes. Do I do it? I don't even know if I've ever done my Me Too stuff for a show. I might, maybe I will over the weekend. But I think that that's why, because it's really hard, honestly, and I know you probably want to ask me about it, but the fact of the matter is, when I came out in the Me Too movement, you can assume what you wish, everybody else does. But the fact of the matter is, I think that it's so beyond your control when you do that. It was so much bigger in the fact that you talk to one reporter, and then the next thing is, it's like it's on all these news outlets. Everybody's got an idea, an opinion about you, an opinion about them, an opinion about whoever. And honestly, you have no voice, you have no control. So like it was just, and and you can assume whatever you want, but it's not always that way.
Right. Well, and there's two sides to every story too, you know.
Yeah. And yeah, two sides to every story, and everybody's different. How can you, I mean, I just told you that my father hired a hitman to kill my mother, who was an undercover cop, but that I love my father, so it's like, I actually am very forgiving for people who make mistakes. But I think we're all coming when it came to that, or like, we look, it took the pressure off of priests, the Me Too movement, but like the chronic and compulsive behavior of Weinstein or Cosby or Epstein, like, I don't think, or like the Boy Scouts or whatever, is I don't think, I feel like that was kind of a new reveal, like a new reveal how compulsive some of these people are, and I'm not saying Louis is one of them. I don't know who Louis, but I know he did it to some people, and he seemed to have a little bit of a heyday when he was doing it, and maybe picking certain people that weren't in his community directly to do that. Because I know that the other girls were, two of them were improvisers. I was an improviser, so I'm not in his world. So I don't know, but I mean, I assume he had some type of glitch, to put people in that position.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, was that the stand up kind of was that kind of a form of, I guess you could say, therapy, as dealing with that sort of trauma?
Well, I didn't talk about it then. I mean, I don't think, I mean, well, actually what happened was, I think I learned, maybe, I got more than just that. That's not my identity. That's one little fucking thing.
Sure.
But then I was made fun of in 3 different Dave Chappelle specials. He picked me out of the group. Making fun because I was on the phone, and like in New York Times creatively edited something I told them. So when it
Sure.
came out into the newspaper, someone tweeted, Judd Apatow tweeted a section with my name on it, and like, I don't look at Twitter. Someone sent it to me. And then I get a phone call from the New York Times saying they recognized what they did. So they saw this tweet too, because it's Judd Apatow and it's dealing with the Me Too, and it pulled my section out of it. And they knew what they had done. They creatively edited it, edited
Edited it. Yes.
edited it.
Yeah.
They creatively did that. And so that's what spins out, like that's what gets seen. Not, it's really like, maybe even the tweet got more. I think Dave Chappelle saw Judd Apatow's tweet where he called Louis a dream killer. And so he took that Louis ruined my dreams, and he made an MLK joke, and then he had a whole bit like, there's just any, was running those specials. He's doing the specials, like quick specials, or so whatever. But he picked me to, say, like, is that harmless that someone doing that would ruin your dream? Well, that always bothered me though with the Dave Chappelle thing, because people had a lot of ideas when Dave Chappelle rejected what $50 million when he, or that threw him to Africa, or they said he had a mental breakdown. And Dave can like look back in hindsight and reframe it and everything. But who are you to talk about how someone reacts to something? You have no fucking idea what led up to it. When that happened with Louis, I had been like I think a few weeks prior, I was served papers on a stage. I was sued and I was served papers on a stage. My dad had died 6 months earlier. I was cut out of my stepmom's life. She ended up marrying my dad's best friend, or was with my dad's best friend, said I was a bad daughter. You don't know what the fuck is going on in someone's life to
Right.
make that, it's like, and who is he to judge? And who is he to not have an understanding of that, but it's
Right.
not his job. His job is to do comedy and to defend his friend. That is one thing I respected about him. I don't expect when somebody has an issue for all their friends to get on social media and diss them. Like, I find
Right.
that kind of low tier too. Unless
Sure.
you really think, this is, absolutely abhorrent. But I don't also like the way people expect people to do that. I think that's a lot to ask from somebody. Because if you're somebody's friend and you have an understanding of them, or maybe I don't know. I mean, I just think that uh, people are just fucked sometimes. They just
And you mentioned the like selective editing thing, and I think that's something that, like Hollywood and the entertainment industry, they love doing that. And there's people they will herald and champion, and then there's others that they'll, eviscerate. And, that's kind of part of the reason that I left Hollywood, is because I don't, it's just such a toxic culture, and it's so, you know like, everybody's got their own version of the story, but there's only like so much that gets out there. And you're dealing with like two uh or multiple types of individuals, and everybody's going to have their own perspective on it, so it's like, um it's really kind of disheartening to see that, they want to approach things from one way. And it's I don't understand it myself.
it's funny though that you say that, because it's like even with stand up, it's like I have to realize that, like, the way I talked, like I said, I ended up in this program because I didn't like the way I talked about my childhood, and I didn't like the way I insulted myself sexually, or intimately.
Right.
And but realizing that creation, we can reframe that too. It's like, then talk about what you do want, like you can make that funny too, or you can,
Sure.
it's like there's the other side to that, like that you can look at it from in a different way.
Yeah.
um
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as someone who's dealt with trauma in his life as well, um, I had to, going back to that whole projectaholic thing, that seems to be the best way to kind of keep your mind off of, any of your life's pitfalls or whatever. It's inherently like, it seems just way more constructive than, picking up the bottle, or, I loved picking up the joint. That was one of my favorite things to do.
I'm so high right now.